Well, lawmakers and residents in the city of Hardin, Montana are debating whether the prisoners at Guantanamo Bay should come to their town. Why, you might be asking? Well, because the city of Hardin has a brand new and very empty, very expensive jail. Earlier this week, the city council voted in favor of having the terror suspects transfer there, but Montana's congressional delegation not supporting the move.
I'm against it. I don't think it's a good idea. It's too much a security risk. I don't think we want to have al-Qaeda prisoners in Montana. It's a security risk that I don't think we want to have.
And joining us on the phone is Greg Smith, the executive director of the Two Rivers Authority. Greg, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So I don't have to tell you, there are tons of communities that are saying we don't want these terrorist suspects or terrorists in our backyards. Explain the theory. Is this about money? Because I know this prison was very expensive and it is empty.
Well, it was $27 million to build a 464-bed facility. So, of course it's expensive. It's been sitting empty for a year and a half. It's about jobs, partly because we're one of the poorest counties in the country. However, we also want to help the president and do our, patriotic duty, so to speak, to help out.
Give me some insight in the fight ahead for this. We just heard from Senator Max Baucus about this, and there are many others who certainly support him in that state. Well,
I would just say that the president signed the executive order. We didn't. We're willing to stand by and help. However, that being said, all the folks that have wanted this to be empty, or not to be empty, but for Guantanamo Bay prisoners to come to the U.S., be tried, have the rights of the U.S. citizens, then if we're going to do that, then they have to be also housed here. And if those people don't want them housed here, perhaps we need to rethink that, because it's unfair for our senators, ours too, to vote to be in favor of closing Guantanamo Bay and then chastise us for standing up and asking for them.
Greg, let me ask you, I think it was you in the article that I read that talked about that, in your thoughts, it's no different to house these terror suspects than it is to have some of the toughest criminals in this country behind bars.
Well, yeah, I mean, how do you rate that? They're all criminals. But that's what our court system has said. That's what our president's saying, and our leaders, that if they're going to bring them to us to put in the American judicial system, they're saying that they really are no different. And so then, at the other hand, everybody's running for the corners to get out of the way. So if that's the case, then maybe we should rethink this.
And back to the issue of jobs, real quick, how many jobs are we talking about, Greg?
Well, it's hard to say, because I don't, if it was just a regular detention center, it would be 105. But we probably wouldn't be running the facility. If it was us, my guess, we would be leasing it to the federal government, who's ever going to take care of them, and that would be, their decision on how to operate it and how many people.
And we talked about the opposition to it. Support-wise, are you hearing from people who are supporting this?
We're hearing from a lot of supporters around, not only around the state, but around the country. I mean, granted, there are some also that aren't supporting, but we're hearing a lot from supporters that understand the issue.
All right, Greg, thank you very much. It's an interesting debate. We'll see what happens next. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you. Bye-bye.